Howdy, y'all. It's Reese, aka Bearman Prime, on this May 26th. Welcome back to my Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you again for joining me. God bless you all. Really do appreciate it. Carve the top right hand corner for the rest of the playlist. And please hit the like button, the subscribe button, that notification bell, help the channel out. Alright, so we're going to wrap up our coverage of the book of Jeremiah today as we go forward. And let's go to chapter 38 in the book of Jeremiah, beginning in verse 1. See what happens with Jeremiah today. Some of the royal officials heard what Jeremiah was saying. They were Shephatiah son of Mattan, Gedaliah son of Pashur, Jehukal son of Shelemiah, and Pashur son of Malchijah. Jeremiah was telling all the people this message. This is what the Lord says. Everyone who stays in Jerusalem will die from war, hunger, or disease. But everyone who surrenders to the army of Babylon will live and escape with their lives. And this is what the Lord says. This city of Jerusalem will surely be given to the army of the king of Babylon. He will capture this city. Then the royal officials who heard what Jeremiah was telling the people went to King Zedekiah. They said to the king, Jeremiah should be put to death. He is discouraging the soldiers who are still in the city and everyone else by what he is saying. He is not looking for peace. He is just trying to cause trouble. So King Zedekiah said to the officials, Jeremiah is in your control. I cannot do anything to stop you. So the officials took Jeremiah and put him into Malchijah's cistern. Malchijah was the king's son. The cistern was in the temple yard where the king's guard stayed. They used ropes to lower Jeremiah into the cistern. The cistern didn't have any water in it, only mud, and Jeremiah sank down into the mud. But a man named Ebed-Melech heard that the officials had put Jeremiah into the cistern. Ebed-Melech was from Ethiopia, and he was a eunuch in the king's palace. King Zedekiah was sitting at the Benjamin gate, so Ebed-Melech left the king's palace and went to talk to the king at the gate. Ebed-Melech said, My lord and king, these officials have done evil. They have treated Jeremiah the prophet badly. They have thrown him into a cistern and left him there to die. Then King Zedekiah gave a command to Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian. This was the command. Ebed-Melech, take 3 men from the palace with you and go get Jeremiah out of the cistern before he dies. So Ebed-Melech took the men with him. But first he went to a room under the storeroom in the king's palace. He took some old rags and worn-out clothes from that room. Then he let the rags down with some ropes to Jeremiah in the cistern. Ebed-Melech the Ethiopian said to Jeremiah, Put these old rags and worn-out clothes under your arms. When we pull you out, these rags will pad your underarms. Then the ropes will not hurt you. So Jeremiah did as Ebed-Melech said. The men pulled Jeremiah up with the ropes and lifted him out of the cistern. And Jeremiah stayed under guard in the temple yard. Okay, so this is yet another example we see here of man trying to control his own destiny, control his own fate, and by doing so, fight against Lord Almighty. And I think, as we all know at this point, nothing can beat the Lord. You cannot defeat the Lord. You cannot fight against him and expect to win. So here we have Jeremiah, who is proclaiming what God is saying, what he has told Israel, that if you stay in Jerusalem, you're going to die. There's no way around it. You will die as surely as the Lord lives. Whether it's by the sword, by disease, or by starvation, you're going to die. But if you surrender to Babylon in this time, and if you go with them, you'll save your life. So Jeremiah was not saying this to discourage people or to cause unrest. He was, and this is, again, Jeremiah speaking for God. So God was not saying these things to, discourage them, but rather he's doing this to try to save his people. He's trying to get them to realize that, I'm giving you a way out, God's saying. You have to surrender to Babylon in order to stay alive, to live. But unfortunately, these, officials who, are desperate to cling to their power and their position, they don't want to hear it. And so they try to get rid of the problem by getting rid of Jeremiah. And so we have him thrown into, a cistern, probably chest deep in mud, just stuck. And he would have died there of exposure or starvation if not for this Ebed-Melech, the Ethiopian who saved him. So there you have it there, folks. So that's going to wrap up our coverage of the book of Jeremiah, like I said. So tomorrow we're going to make a quick stop as we move on in the book of Ezekiel tomorrow. So thank you again for joining me. I sure do appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow.